So I say, why did you take drugs right before you had to do a podcast? And you say,
well, I didn't think ahead.
because we watched Season 6, Episode 9, The Secretary. So, Katie.
Hi.
Why'd you take drugs right before you had to do a podcast?
It's a good question.
We're talking about a leave, right?
Yep.
So what did you think of The Secretary?
I'd say like, no.
Yeah. While we were watching
That
it.
makes sense.
Yeah. While we were watching it, I was trying to figure out like, why is this not working?
I think the Jerry storyline is not funny until the very end of it, where he follows the woman into the change room.
I wrote down Jerry assaults an old lady.
He does, but he goes, that's my mother's fur coat, after she's already walked by and gone into the room. And he opens the door, she goes, no, it's not. And that was very funny. That was good.
It almost wasn't believable that she could hear him. This Barney's change room is the center of the universe.
Poppin'.
Everybody's there.
I mean, we get Kramer in the women's change room. We get Jerry in the women's change room. We get Banya in the women's change room.
Baths in the women's change room. Anyways, so The Secretary was written by Carol Leifer and Marjorie Gross. It was directed by Andy Ackerman. It aired on December 8th, 1994. Screen Crush ranked it as the 52nd best episode, and Vulture had it at a much more reasonable 123rd.
Yeah. So who were the guest stars?
So we had Steve Heitner reprise his role as Banya. We had Vicki Lewis playing the role of Ada. She was in News Radio, How I Met Your Mother, and Modern Family. You know, you quote a line that her character from How I Met Your Mother says all the time.
I do?
You do.
What's the line?
What's the line that you quote from How I Met Your Mother?
I can't think of it now. What's the difference between peanut butter and jam?
Nope. Oh, that Katie always walking around telling what some people consider to be the dirtiest joke in the world. Just, what's the difference between peanut butter and jam?
I don't remember what I say from... The only thing I can think of is go on and say something bad about butter sauce. You can't, but I know that's Marshall.
You do say that quite often as well. Just a little bit.
Oh, yeah. She's trying to get...
she's the maternity doctor,
yes.
And she's saying like the rules, and it's like, can I have some wine?
Yeah.
Just a little bit. Can I have some caffeine? Just a little bit. Can I anything? Just a little bit.
You didn't let me have just a little bit of wine when I was pregnant.
No good reason to have a little bit of wine.
You have a rare steak, and you want just a little bit of red wine to go with it. That's a very good reason.
There's no health reason.
I had a thimble full of wine, and our daughter is fine.
8 years later, let's fight about it.
Who else?
Joseph R. Sakari played Willie. He was in The Benchwarmers, Kicking and Screaming, and Isn't It Romantic?
Who's Willie?
The dry cleaner.
Oh.
We had Mitzi McCall, Donna.
I'm guessing that's Mrs. Dry Cleaner.
It's Willie's wife, yes.
Of course her name is Mitzi. She looks like a Mitzi.
In Hard 4, Limbo Lounge, and Tales from the Toilet. When I'm looking up things that people have been in, I'm like torn between picking like, what are they most known for? What do I recognize them from? And what is like
their funniest credit?
The funniest things that is like Troy McClure.
Yes.
You might remember me from Hard 4, Limbo Lounge, and Tales from the Toilet. Courtney Taylor played the role of Attractive Applicant.
Mm-hmm.
She was in Prom Night 3, The Last Kiss, My Secret Identity, and Cover Me. And then Armine Azarian was the saleswoman. She was in one episode each of Jag, NYPD Blue, and The Guardian.
I liked when Elaine came back in the store and she pretended like she'd been there the whole time. She's like, can you show me something else?
No. I mean, we can talk about this now. That was a perfectly fine dress, right? Elaine looked great in it.
Yes. Tiny, perfect Julia Louis-Dreyfus does not look hippie in anything. The first dress, besides being weird, was also like 3 sizes too big.
Yeah, it just swallowed her.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Well, let's throw it back to last week when I asked you if you remembered the secretary.
George hires a secretary.
Well?
I didn't want to spoil that I remembered George banging his secretary.
But I think all you said was George hires a secretary.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
Well, how do I reveal?
Elaine wears a dress outside.
I remember that George hired it. George didn't hire the good-looking secretary.
Okay.
He hired the efficient secretary and bangs her.
Yeah.
Didn't remember the raise. Didn't remember Banya and the cream.
Ew. It's the name of my new jazz band.
Banya and the cream. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together and welcome to the stage. Banya and the cream. Banya and the cream would be a great
You're doing
morning.
a strip club voice.
Yeah, I know. It would be a great morning zoo radio show.
Yes.
Listen to KACL's Banya and the Cream on your drive in the morning. Hey guys, I'm the cream.
What? That's what you go with?
That's what I go with. The cream.
Oh my god, what's happening?
The leave is kicking in.
So I'll read the synopsis, I guess. George gets too close to his new assistant. Jerry uses unethical dry cleaners. Elaine and Kramer have an adventure at Barney's.
Those things happened.
Yeah. Do you think fur is attractive? Forgetting that nobody wears fur anymore, really. Do you see like a beautiful woman in a fur coat and you're like, ooh, she's wearing fur?
No, I don't care. I don't know.
I always picture someone wearing a fur coat, like holding the collar, like always putting the collar up to their faces and walking around where like the fur touches their face or their chin.
I don't think fur coats are necessarily flattering.
No, they're usually...
Yeah, they're like a giant tube of
yeah
fur with a person inside.
My baba has a fur coat that I think my cousin's wife kept, but it's like, it's not sable or something luxurious. It's like a hard weatherproof fur.
Like muskrat and otter.
Something.
The waterproof mammals.
She used to make accessories, so there were like fur hats and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And I have like a box of fur scraps that I use as Halloween decorations because they look like animal parts.
I mean, they are.
I guess.
So George is talking to Jerry about how he's going to get a secretary. He's all excited. And he says, I could go the tomato route.
What does that mean?
What does that mean?
I thought when he said that, the tomato route is the unattractive option. Because Jerry's like, are you going to get the like swimsuit model? I can't remember what he says. Pinup showgirl version. He goes, I could go the tomato route.
Is he the tomato or is she the tomato?
I thought tomato meant like a tomato shaped and colored woman. Yeah. Like a big fat ruddy faced woman.
I assumed he was the tomato and it was like calling himself like a boob. I don't know. Not a woman's boob, like an idiot.
I don't know what that meant.
I'm familiar with all the IBM and Macintosh programs.
He says to the second applicant, I would give up red meat to get a look at you in a bra.
Mm-hmm.
You can't say that.
In an interview, there's a couple of things that George says and does that I don't think are appropriate.
Yeah. This is great. How come I never had a secretary before?
Well, you didn't have a job before.
Elaine says at the store, somebody walking by said she looked like Demi Moore.
I've always said Demi.
Demi Moore, Demi Moore. Ooh. Say it together and fast.
Demi Moore, Demi Moore. Demi Moore.
You said it?
Demi?
Both sounded...
Oh, pardon me, Demi.
I've never seen a semi-tractor trailer.
So Elaine has bought this dress from Barney's that looked great in the store, didn't look good outside. And the Hotsy Totsy turned into the Hotsy Nazi. But when they said Nazi, I thought they meant Nazi.
Oh, no.
Do you think stores do skinny mirrors? Or do you think it's like lighting? Or, you're just so overwhelmed in the moment. The champagne is flowing and
champagne.
Where
do you shop?
Music is blaring. I don't know.
Listen, the last few times I've been in a dressing room, if those are skinny mirrors, I have a problem. Because I've taken off my clothes and gone, oh no, it's looking at my body. So no, I don't think Simon's is using skinny mirrors. I don't think Old Navy is using skinny mirrors.
We used to shop at Barney's.
Apparently. But then I go out into the world and look like I belong hanging in the window of a kosher deli.
Like a hotsy Nazi.
Kramer asks Elaine to get him moisturizer.
Moisturizer? That's girl stuff.
What was going on? I feel sorry for men in the 90s. A little bit.
You can't get moisturizer. There's the whole meme about how men use like the same shampoo, face, body wash, deodorant, brake cleaner. It's all one product. Yeah. And I think it's because of, what happened in the 90s. We got programmed into
thinking if you have specialized products, it means you're...
Yeah. That limp wrist motion you just did won't show up well on the podcast.
Everyone knows what I meant. There was a picture I wanted to send you on Instagram of like a teapot from the 1800s. And it's a man. So like picture, I'm a little teapot, but he's got his hand on his hip and he has his other hand out as the spout. And he just looks so fabulous. So what we should be saying now, instead of like, oh, do you think he's, and then making the hand motion, be like, is he a teapot from the 1800s?
This guy's a bit of a teapot.
Yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah. So Kramer then offers to go with Elaine. I guess he still wants her to buy the moisturizer because he's not allowed to. But he'll dress up. They'll go to lunch. We'll get to know each other.
Elaine and Kramer are going on an adventure.
Yeah.
Elaine seems almost aghast at the thought of this.
I like that they've pointed out that like, oh, we have our little group, but you and I don't know each other.
Yeah.
A little meta humor.
So then we get the scene with George and his secretary, and, if the strike continues, they'll be in Anaheim on this date, and let's book the Anaheim hotel. And she has, knows the time that the room service closes, and she's figured out the price increase if we switch to canola oil. And
isn't all of that stuff his job? I guess it is. And he's just outsourcing it to secretary.
Yeah.
So then what would he do to earn a salary that he thinks should be higher than hers?
Well, that.
He takes the requirements from the team and brings them
to the engineers.
Yeah.
She's his subordinate. So, it doesn't work if he's not making more than she is.
A secretary cannot make more than her boss. There was talk at our old work about, like talented people going into management instead of like staying and doing the work. The argument is that your subordinates can make more money than you. And because they have specialized skills and technical knowledge. And if you are managing them, you don't need those skills plus managerial skills. You can just be good at managing and not necessarily make more than them. But nobody obviously wants to make less than their subordinates.
I don't know what people on my team make. I think that I have people that I manage that make more money than I do.
Well, you're in the private sector. I think that's a bit different. Because were you in the public sector, everyone on your team would make the same thing.
True.
And, you can negotiate your salary and yada yada.
Maybe I should renegotiate my salary.
I don't know. You've been working a lot of weekends. By which I mean one weekend.
I have worked 18 out of the past 21 days. That's something.
Yeah, you should take a day off.
Can't. Working in the private sector, got to get stuff done.
We should go to the spa.
This is going to be the podcast. The spa? That's girl stuff. So do you know what I'm thinking?
Is it doable?
So she's supposed to be this like great mind, knows how to get organized, the most efficient way to do things. They're making out and she's like, undo my jacket and then take off the bra.
You need to be a great mind to do.
Exactly. Like they couldn't have think of something like more complicated or.
Well, I was going to say because it was written by a man, but it wasn't.
Well, 2 women wrote this episode.
Yeah.
Doesn't pass the Bechdel test.
Listen, their comment.
Does it pass Bechdel test?
No. Well, I guess Elaine and the salesperson were talking about clothes.
We've taken down the patriarchy.
Isn't there more to it than just not talking about men?
It's 2 women have to have a conversation that isn't about men.
And which their characters have names. Does salesperson have a name?
No, she was just salesperson.
It fails.
We're so close.
Another
30 years of patriarchy until the Barbie movie comes out. And then we'll be free.
It's the Groundhog Day of the Bechdel test.
In the throes of passion, George screams out, I'm giving you a raise.
Listen, this made me uncomfortable.
Your head snapped back when he said that.
Not the raise part, the noises and the length of time we were listening to them do it on network television.
I'm trying to think of other times on Seinfeld that would have been as
risque,
body.
It was just a body talk.
Maybe making out in Schindler's List.
I don't know. I think the sex noises are. It just kicks it up a notch. Hold on. Get this pillow. Where does it go?
Underneath one of their backs?
I guess.
His back? Her back?
I don't know. Banya comes into Barney's. And he needs a new suit.
Well, when you're shopping on Madison Avenue, you don't want to skimp on the swag.
Banya can't find a suit that doesn't make him look high-waisted.
He's a 42 now because he's been working out.
Huge. What does looking high-waisted mean? Like short torsoed?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. I thought high-waisted makes it look like you have long legs. Isn't that good?
I don't know. You know how when women wear empire waists, like their upper body looks short?
Mm-hmm. But if you wear high-waisted jeans, your legs look very long.
Yeah, but do men want long legs or do they want big, powerful torsos?
Oh, I'm right. They want to be like a triangle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big, powerful torsos.
Mm-hmm. What does George Steinbrenner really sound like? Does he sound like that?
Like Larry David?
Yeah.
I mean, a New York accent. So kind of like sharp staccato-y.
Oh, so he does talk like that.
I guess, yeah.
So I'd never heard him talk, but I read an interview with Larry David, who said that his impression of him, he says, I turned him into a nut.
Yeah.
And Jerry Seinfeld was like, yeah, just do that. Talk about cupcakes and cigars and whatever. Like, on and on and on. The other thing Larry David said about George was that he was unemployed the year before. He needed a job. I always wanted to work for the Yankees, and that was it. We didn't put as much thought into these things as people think.
So Jerry's received his jacket back from the dry cleaners, and in his pocket he finds a movie stub to the 9:30 showing of something.
And he saw, I forget his name now,
Willie?
Going to the movies in his houndstooth jacket.
Jerry, that's a breach of the dry cleaner code.
You need a code to tell you not to wear other people's clothes? Oh, when he asks for the fur, and he says, I want it now, and the dry cleaner's like, and then you see his wife eating a hot dog on the street wearing the fur. There's no dog in that bun. It's just bun.
Is it?
I think so. I think she's got a hot dog bun and she's stuffing in her mouth.
She really went to town on that hot dog bun.
Why didn't Kramer and Banya just trade clothes?
Well, the price wasn't $300 plus the clothes off your back. It was just $300, right? And then what? I mean, why did he have to have the suit right away? Why didn't Kramer just say, like, come back to my apartment?
Yeah.
It'd be a much more reasonable thing to do.
I didn't think ahead. That's kind of all I have until the last stand-up. I mean, it sort of wraps up the way you'd expect. Elaine wears the dress outside. The salesperson saw her. She says, you have to take that dress.
Yeah, I mean, it's a perfectly fine dress. She looks fantastic in it.
Yeah.
What I was wondering, like, so I remember this scene, and I remember she's going to wear it outside. And I was wondering if they would have her in a different garment, like 2 sizes bigger when she's walking outside.
Oh, to accentuate how much the skinny mirror.
Exactly. And so then, like, when
our view inside Barney's is like through a skinny mirror.
Exactly.
Yeah, that would have been good.
Yeah, that would have been a good idea. Too bad it wasn't employed by Seinfeld in the 90s.
It did look a little big on her in the butt. Probably because she is a flat butt.
She's a flat butt. George storyline kind of fizzles. He finds out that Steinbrenner gave his secretary a $25,000 raise. He goes to complain about it. Steinbrenner rants, and he just kind of walks.
It's a phone call
meekly.
And meeks out of there.
And Jerry assaults an old lady, and the coat that he retrieves, Kramer walks home in it. So one thing that I think was a bit of a goof, in the scene where at the end where Kramer, Elaine, and Jerry are walking back, Kramer is wearing both the fur coat and the shirt that he sold Banya.
Oh. I didn't notice the shirt.
There was another goof pointed out on Wiki Seinfeld or IMDb that earlier in the day, Elaine was wearing a white set of underwear, but then at Barney's, you can see that she's wearing a black set of underwear.
Is it the same day?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought they went the next day. Somewhere I wrote down, Banya is a crazy person.
He's a man that deals strictly in attempting to get free meals.
Yeah, and I don't understand why. Like, I understand story-wise why Jerry offers him dinner. I don't understand what Banya's getting out of it besides free food. Jerry's not pleasant to him. They're not having a conversation. He's just eating soup with an angry person. Like, every free meal he's getting is with someone who hates being there.
So I think later in the series, it might become more apparent, but I mean, Banya is a stand-up comic, and so he admires Jerry because Jerry has more success than he does. Mm-hmm. So that's probably why.
He's trying to absorb it.
Yeah.
With his shark eyes and chiclet teeth.
So the tag stand-up is Jerry doesn't want to hear about the specials.
Nope.
I love hearing about the specials.
Why?
I don't know. They're special.
I think you just like having the wait staff explain things to you.
I do sometimes wonder why they're specials.
Mm-hmm.
There was one time years ago where we were eating at Auntie's and Uncle's for brunch.
You and me, or you and someone else?
Me and someone else.
Okay.
And they were like, oh, we have a special breakfast burger.
Mm-hmm.
Because when we had our food delivered, they accidentally included a whole bunch of hamburgers. So we thought we'd just do like a brunch burger special. Right. So is it just like by happenstance? It's like, we got too many peppers in the fridge. Let's have a stuffed pepper special. I
think so. I think they're like, oh, these avocados they got to go tomorrow. We'll have like guac, free guac with a burrito or something.
The other thing that I question waiters is like, or specials, is it like better margins? So it's like, well, it's a special meal. So you're like, oh, it's my only chance to get this. But it's like the markup on that meal is like way better than the markup on the regular stuff that they have on the menu.
Do you think specials should cost more or less than the regular menu?
Well, I don't think you want to price yourself out of whatever, right? Like it has to be like around the same at least.
Yeah, but do you expect as a consumer that the special will be a deal?
Oh, no, not a deal. I expect it to be like in line with the price of other things.
Because in my mind, there's a deal.
Oh no, I don't think that at all.
They're like, we got to get rid of all these avocados. Please eat them cheaply.
Yeah, but that's a secret.
Jerry says they always word things weirdly when they're describing the specials, as in veal, lightly slapped, sequestered in a one-bedroom suite with white wine intravenous.
Sounds pretty good.
Yeah, that's great.
What's on tap for next week?
The race. You look concerned.
Jerry races a former school rival, I guess.
On foot?
Yep.
Huh.
Foot race. Do you have any corrections or omissions from last episode?
I do. So I thought that Jerry drove an LTD. We were talking about weird car names.
Yeah.
It was Kramer in the parking garage episode.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So we were arguing about Next Stop Pottersville. You said it was made up by the, music supervisor or whoever.
Yeah, Jonathan Wolfe.
I can't believe you remember. And I said it was a real song called The Sliding Mr. Bones. It's definitely that one.
Oh.
If you YouTube it. And you were right, of course, about cow nose prints.
Pardon me?
You were right. Cow nose prints are used to identify cattle for disease tracing.
Yeah, I used to work on a dairy farm.
Mr. Salty were pretzels. Who was eating Mr. Salty in Jerry's apartment?
George.
That ties into Elaine taking the salt off Mr. Pitt's pretzels in the same episode. So you can buy snack packs of Mr. Salty in the U.S. With cheese. And, the cheese and crackers packages? I forget what company makes them.
Yeah, sure.
With the red stick?
Mm-hmm.
No more red stick. It's gone.
Shrinkflation affects everybody.
They said it was because people would just throw them on the ground.
Yeah, they had to come up with a good excuse.
I can clearly picture the schoolyard in grade 1 being just littered with little red sticks. That's it. Do you have anything?
No.
Well, bye.
See you next week. Believe it or not, this is our podcast. Please subscribe at the end. If you subscribed, we would be happy. Please subscribe to us. Believe it or not, it's our podcast.
Is that a Seinfeld reference?